and welcome to Craft with Sarah. In this video I'm going to show you how to assemble my Christmas tree layered cardstock design. So this is a free SVG which is available on my blog. I'll put a link in the description of this video, and as you can see it's got loads of layers on it, so this is a really fun 3D cardstock project to make for Christmas. So let's jump in and see how it's all stuck together. So here are all my pieces of the Christmas tree cut out, and to start with we're going to stick the layers of the tree onto the base. So start with the largest two and then separate them out so you've got the two different shades of green, and we want the one which is just the silhouette without the cutouts to start with. So we're going to add some 3D foam pads on the back and then stick it onto the base like that. So turn it upside down and, I'm actually just going to check I have got that the right way around because it isn't quite symmetrical, so let's just double check. Yeah, I wouldn't want to put the foam pads on the wrong side. So my pads are quite big, so I'm just cutting them smaller so that I don't have to use as many. You want to try and make sure you get a foam pad right up into the star at the top and then fairly close to the edge inside all the spikes of the tree to give it the best stick possible when we're putting all the layers together. So as well as one of those in all the points, you also want to put some in the middle of the tree so that it's not going to sag in the middle when we put all the other layers on top. So now I can peel the tops off of the foam pads to release all of the stickiness underneath, and then turn it back the other way and stick it on top of the brown base. And I'm just going to line it up. So I'm lining up the star at the top and then all of the branches. And then when you're happy with the positioning, you can just push down. So for the darker green bits, you can glue them if you want to, if you don't want to make it as 3D, or you can use foam pads for a little bit more depth. So I think I'll use the foam. So turn it upside down. Let's just double check one more time. Yep. And then add the foam to the back. You want to try and make sure you've got some foam pads along this bottom bit underneath all the cutouts. But make sure you don't put any foam over any of the gaps, otherwise you'll be able to see it when you turn it around, and you don't want to be able to see the foam through the gaps, so just be careful when you're positioning it around them that you don't put it over any of those holes. Okay, so peel the tops off. Stick it directly on top of the other one. There we go. Alright, so we will have some snow to go along the bottom, but I'm going to do all of the green layers first. So I'm going to move on to the next one, which are these layers. So again, we're going to start with the filled in one and then put the cutout one on top. So check you've got it the right way and then turn it upside down. And then I'm just going to do the same thing, so stick this one on first and then the other one on top. Here's the cutout one ready to go on. So again, just line it up with what's already on there and then press down when you're happy. Next, there are the top two tiers of the tree. Here we are, and it's the same process again. So the little one first, and now there's less of a piece of card, it's a lot smaller so we can get away with less foam pads. And I'll stick this one on. And then this very top one, you need to be a little bit careful because there's not an awful lot of space on the back because of all of the decorations. So you might need to cut your foam really thin, just some really thin bits so that you can get a few nice pieces on there to make sure it's not going to come apart. I'm going to try and put one more the other side. There we go. Okay, so here's the last bit of green. Stick that on there, and that is all the green done. So now we can move on to the other decorations. I'm going to start with the base at the bottom, so this just needs a little bit of foam. And then I can stick that on top of the brown base layer. And then on top of that we've got the bow. And again, this one's really thin, so you'll need those thin pieces of foam pad. Let's put one in the ribbon there, and then I'm going to cut some tiny little squares to go in the bow, just so that that's going to be nice and stuck. You could glue this one on. If you're not sure, you can cut your foam small enough. And then it will just line up with the shape on the present. There we go. Next, I'm going to do the star on the top of the tree, and I think this will be easiest to put the foam on the tree and then line the star up on top. I've not done that very well because I've stuck it over the edge. Let's try again. I might need to cut that a little bit smaller. No, there we go, perfect. Alright, so you could leave it like that if you want to, but it was designed to have the snow along the bottom of each of the branches. So the snow has two layers. It's got the white snow and then a slightly darker colour to give it a bit more detail. So the lighter snow, we're going to use the foam to put it on the tree, and the darker is just going to be glued on because this is really, really narrow. I don't want to try and get foam pads in that. So these ones I am going to glue. But to start with, I'll use my foam pads to stick all of the underlying bits onto my tree. Cool. Alright, so now you've got the final layer, and this is optional, but it's just to add a bit of extra detail to the snow. And as I said, these ones I'm going to glue on. So I've got some tacky glue with a nice thin nozzle, although my glue is drying out a bit, so I need to hope that it actually works, which it seems to today. That is good. So I'm just putting a tiny bit of glue along the edge of this piece. You don't need very much at all. So I'm not drowning it in glue because I don't want it to seep through to the other side. Now I can just carefully place this on top of the snow that's already on the tree and gently press it down. So I don't want any of that glue to smush out of the sides. So I'm just being really gentle with it. I used a brand new Cricut mat to cut out the snow, which is why it's kind of bending up a bit. I find that when you use a new mat, you do kind of get a little bit of a bend the first few times you use it when it's super duper sticky, but the more you use it, the better that gets. And it's not a problem anyway, because once it's all glued on, it'll be nice and flat. So putting a little bit of glue on there. And then I'll stick it on top of the snow on that second tier. There we go. And then one more, this very top one. Oops, just flipped it upside down. Ah! There we go. Let's put the lid on my glue, try and stop it drying out any more than it already has. And then I'll stick this on the top. Yeah, and that is my 3D layered Christmas tree all done. So as I said at the beginning, you can get the free SVG for this design from my blog, which is craftwithsarah.com, or I'll put a link in the description of this video. If you've enjoyed watching this video and if you like this design, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more layered designs and Cricut craft tutorials. Thank you for watching.